Imagine a small coastal village where a lone lighthouse stood tall at the edge of the cliffs. This lighthouse wasn't just a symbol of safety, it was vital. Every night, it guided ships away from the rocky shores and ensured sailors reached their destination safely. The Lighthouse Keeper, Thomas, had one job. Whatever you do, keep the light burning. Every evening, he'd climb the narrow staircase to the top, lit the lantern, and maintained a glow of safety throughout the night. But one day, something happened. Thomas started growing bored with his task. He thought, man, this lighthouse thing, I do it every night, I got it down. I'm gonna continue to do the job, but also, I wanna start working on carving miniature ships. Me starting this new hobby will keep me from falling asleep at work. One night, as he's working on carving his ship, he thought, I'll just finish this one little detail. That night, the lighthouse light flickered and dimmed. And you already know what happened. A ship sailing near the shore lost its bearings and crashed directly into the rocks. Horrified by the sound, Thomas realized that his distraction had consequences far beyond himself. As he looked down upon the water, Thomas sat in the wreckage of his own choices. He began to realize that carving wasn't the problem. It was that he had lost sight of his primary purpose. His distraction had stemmed from avoidance. Keeping that lighthouse steady was repetitive and sometimes lonely work, but it was essential. Determined not to let another ship crash, Thomas began to refocus. He cleaned the lantern, he adjusted the wick, and ensured that the light burned brighter than ever. He also made a plan. He'd dedicate his time to carving during the daytime hours, leaving the night entirely for his primary purpose. At first, it wasn't easy. The temptation to carve remained, and distraction still called to him. But each time he felt the urge to reach for his tools in the nighttime, Thomas reminded himself of the shipwreck and the lives that were affected. Months passed, and the lighthouse became a symbol of unwavering reliability. Thomas felt a new sense of pride in his work. Thomas realized that staying focused wasn't just about keeping the light burning, it was about honoring his purpose and the lives that depend on him. Have you ever had one of those days where you sit down ready to conquer your to-do list, and before you know it, hours have slipped away? You didn't make progress, but you can't for the life of you figure out where the time went. Maybe it started with a quick scroll through social media or quick text that you responded to, but suddenly the day is gone. Distractions, they sneak in, derail us, and leave us wondering what happened. Distraction isn't just a time thief, it's a vision killer. And today, I want to talk about why distractions happen, how they sabotage your growth journey, and most importantly, how to take back control so that you can stay focused on what truly matters. So before we can talk about how to be better in an area, we must first identify the root of the issue. Distraction often comes from a lack of vision. When you don't have a clear destination, it's easy to drift off course. It's like setting sail without a map. Every wave or breeze can steer you in a new direction because you don't know where you're supposed to go in the first place. But sometimes, even when we do have a plan, distractions creep in. And we must realize that if we have a vision and we're still distracted, that distraction can be a sign of avoidance. Think about it. Have you ever procrastinated on something important because it felt overwhelming or uncomfortable? Instead of tackling the task head on, you find yourself cleaning the house or binge watching your favorite TV show or scrolling through your phone endlessly. Distractions are often our way of avoiding the hard, uncomfortable, but necessary work. But I love what I heard Myron Golden say. Myron said, people who succeed focus on intention, while people who fail focus on distraction. Successful people don't just drift through their days, reacting to every notification or shiny object. Successful people start each day with intention, clarity, and purpose. They don't leave space for distraction because they understand that every minute spent on what doesn't matter pulls them further away from their goal. Distraction in itself is subtle. It doesn't burst through the door. It quietly creeps in. Every great waste of time began with a small distraction. It is rarely the big things that derail us. It's the little ones. Oop, let me check my email real quick. You know what? I know I'm supposed to be doing something else, but I'll watch one episode to unwind. Unwind from what? You ain't been doing the work. I'll respond to the group chat and then I'll get back to work. And before you know it, your entire day has been destroyed by tiny, incremental distractions. Small distractions compound, and suddenly both your energy and your focus are gone. But here's the truth. Distraction is a choice. You might not realize it, but every time you allow something to pull you away from your purpose, you are choosing that thing over your growth. And the tough question that we must ask ourselves, are the things I'm distracted by worth what I'm giving up? Are the things I'm distracted by, do they mean more to me than what I could potentially be losing by staying focused? Distraction is a big deal, not just because you're wasting time. Every single time you get distracted, you're not just losing time, you're losing momentum. Imagine trying to push a car uphill. Every single time you stop to rest, that car is going to start rolling backwards. And you have to start over and regain all of that ground that you just lost. That's what distractions do. They reset your progress and make your journey longer and harder. And distractions don't just impact your task, they shape your life. The time you spend distracted could be used to invest in your dreams, to strengthen a relationship, or to focus on your self-development. Now, most of us do not begin our days with the intention to be distracted. But the question is, do we begin our days with the intention to be focused? Because if you do not begin your day with the intention to be focused, the suddenlies of life will take you throughout your day without accomplishing what you want to accomplish. So what can you do when you feel yourself slipping into distraction? The very first place to start is to reconnect with your vision. Distraction loses its power when you have a clear vision of what you want. Ask yourself, what am I working towards? Why does it matter to me? How will staying focused bring me closer to that goal? Number 2, write your vision down. If your vision is not written down, it becomes a vapor. So you want to write it down and keep it visible somewhere. If your vision is visible when distractions arise, because you know they will, your vision will remind you of what that distraction costs. Number 3, plan with intention. Start each day with a plan. Identify your priorities and time block them. And remember, if it's not on my list, it's not a part of the mission. Number 4, recognize avoidance. When you begin to notice that you're distracted, ask yourself, am I distracted because I'm avoiding something? If the answer is yes, don't shame yourself, because we're not about shame, but we are about personal accountability and making adjustments. So address it. Break the task down into smaller digestible steps, or tackle it for just 10 minutes to get it started. Action is the best cure for avoidance. You have to recognize it, be honest with yourself that you're avoiding it, and then take that courage and then act. Number 5, create boundaries for focus. Turn off notifications. Put your phone on silent. Set your phone in another room. Use apps to block distracting websites. Do whatever you have to do to protect your focus, because your focus is too expensive to be neglected. Number 6, shift from distraction to discipline. Discipline is a skill, which means it's something that is developed. The more you practice being focused, the easier it gets, because then it's becoming a part of your identity. It's becoming a part of who you are. Start small and build that discipline muscle over time. Number 7, practice gratitude and presence. Distraction often pulls us into what's next, but gratitude keeps us grounded in what's now. Take moments throughout your day to pause, to breathe, and appreciate where you are. Presence, being present, is the enemy of distraction. The truth is, distractions will always exist. The world isn't going to stop pulling you in one direction because you watch this video, but the power lies in your response. If distraction is a choice, that also must mean that focus is a choice. Every single time you choose to focus, you're choosing your vision, you're choosing your growth, you're choosing your future. So the next time you're tempted by distraction, ask yourself, what am I trading for this moment of distraction? I want you to remember that you are capable of incredible things. You are a masterpiece. You're a piece of the master. And the only limits you face are the ones that you allow to exist. And while some may exist in the physical, the truth is, most of the limits exist and they live rent-free in our heads. You are capable of things that you never could have imagined accomplishing. But it only happens if you give vision your energy and attention. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and stay committed. Your future self will thank you. Always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.